All right, let's get a mind, and here we go. Twitter, Facebook, all that good stuff's up. All right, here we go. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. What is up, everybody? Thank you for joining us here on the Welcome On Podcast. I'm your host, Famously Garnet, and I'm joined by my coach Q.
What it do, y'all? What it do?
And in today's episode, it's one subject to talk about. I do before we get into the subject, I do need to get a shout out to Tony Annan and the men's soccer program for upsetting UNC Greensboro, the number 11 team in the country, by the way. They're on a 4-game winning streak.
That's not bad. That's good.
Four
Shout out to
game
the
winning
boys.
streak. Yeah.
Shout out to the boys.
Yeah.
I
They
do
are
agree with that.
clicking, they are healthy, and this is what Tony's been waiting on. So I talked with Tony after the game. He had a lot of great things to say. The quotes are out there, but I'm happy for him. That they played the same time as South Carolina played against Vandy. Their game started at 7 o'clock. They were down 1-0. They came back and won 2-1 at UNC Greensboro, by the way. So give them
Hmm,
their props. Give them
hmm.
their props. They deserve it. They absolutely deserve it. So that's a 4-game winning streak for Tony Annan as he gets into Sun Belt play. But Q, the Gamecocks played Vanderbilt, took on Vanderbilt. That spread kept dropping. Ultimately, it was 2.5 when it was all said and done. Swinging for us,
Mm, mm.
I'm gonna tell you, man. Saturday was fun. Great seeing my people out there. Of course, Evan throwing down a good tailgate as normal. They lost the game, but we went in the parking lots for that's for damn sure. But I got to tell you, man, vibes were high going into this one. People were they were excited to take this shot at Vanderbilt. Bless you. And
Mhm.
I just you thought going into this game we had that shot, and I'm gonna tell you why. Marcus Lattimore was your celebrity in this game. Came out, pumped the crowd up, man, and he was all hyped. And how are you not hyped with him? And it was just
Which was
I
cool to
was
see him there.
it
That
was
was really cool
amazing.
to see
It
him
was
to see that.
amazing.
I agree with that.
It was
I
amazing,
thought
and
that
we're
was
gonna get
really,
him.
really good.
We're gonna get him on the show to talk more about that here soon. The fans were up, man. The fans were up. They were excited. You had stars in the audience. Theo Vaughn was on the field as he's a Vanderbilt fan. So comedian Theo Vaughn was on the field, and he saw what the experience, the atmosphere looked like. But good God, did it just end in the stands? I got to tell you, I was at the South Carolina Vanderbilt game in '07, and I think you were there too.
Yeah, I was in the last loss. I was there.
I felt I felt like I was kicked in the gut, man, watching this game. And I felt the same way in '07. 16-year-old Q, 16-year-old FG, trying to, enjoy this win streak that South Carolina is currently on. In '07, you lose to Vanderbilt,
Yeah,
and then it went
that
all
was a
down from
year
hill from there.
we definitely had a chance that year to do something special.
We had LSU on the ropes in Baton Rouge, by the way, if it weren't from
Yeah,
that fake field goal.
we um we had a chance there. Before I actually go into how I feel about what happened, let me address one thing. I saw Craig shout to Craig. Um, no, Vandy's offense is not what we need to run. We don't need to run what Vandy was doing. There's a couple reasons why I say that. The offense Vandy runs should get your quarterback killed. That should get your quarterback killed on most days. Now, what saved Vandy from ultimately getting him killed was, in fact, they weren't calling holding. They
Or
were not
tackling,
calling a lot of that. They were
or
tackling,
pinning
tackling
Dylan Stewart.
our yeah, like they were. There was multiple holds that weren't called, which were drive killers. And since those holds weren't called, Pavi was able to, do different things because he was able to get that kind of stuff taken care of. But no, I don't think our offense is more conducive to Sellers being able to throw and routes being able to develop more. But
Yeah.
that's not why we lost. So I'm going to go ahead and get into why we lost. I've watched the game 3 times since the game aired, and the fact that Shane Beamer managed the game the way he did was more scary than anything else I saw on Saturday. If you look back at the O line, not just their grades on PFF, you look back at what the O line did. If you actually turn the tape on and look at what the O line did, they actually had one of their better games. Of the 3 games, they actually played their best game. I disagree when you want to blame the offensive line for the game. I 110% disagree.
Oh, cute. The pass blocking grade, it just needs to be said because I know what people want to go there. Okay.
Yeah.
Passing block, I'm going to break it down. Shed Surratt, 82.3. Okay. A 67.4 for Josiah. It's probably his better grade, though, since he's been in South Carolina. An 84.3 for Boaz Stanley. A 70.5 for Trevon Ball. And then for Big Tree, which I believe was his birthday, actually, was 76.5. Okay.
I'm going to get to Tree in a second. You know what I'm going to say. I'm going to get to Tree in a second. I am tired of y'all not holding Sellers accountable. I love Sellers like the next person. And everyone knows that. But Sellers missed an opportunity to take the lead off of a misread for him. Mike Shula dialed up the correct and proper play. Sellers missed the actual read he should have went to, which was Dingle in the end zone. When I say Dingle was open, He was streaking down. The guy caught him late. And if you just toss the ball up like you did last year when it came to Joshua Simon against Kentucky, when it came to Joshua Simon against Oklahoma, when it came to Joshua Simon against Texas A&M, these are plays that have already been made before. Those reads were there before. You now are up 14-7 with a more confident defense. So I cannot in good faith blame the offensive line. But since we're here on the offensive line, since we have taken time out of our day to talk about the offensive line, the fact that Tree Babalati is not starting for the South Carolina Gamecocks is troubling. It's very troubling to me. At this point, I don't care how people are practicing. I can't put too much stock in how everybody is practicing, how everybody's doing stuff. Because now I've got bigger questions when Tree has time and time again, moment after moment, play after play, series after series that he's been thrown in there. He has done his job and more and brought stability to wherever he is every time, FG.
Sure.
So I'm struggling with why Tree Babalati as a player is not getting more playing time.
I will say this, Q. In Tree's defense, honestly, there are players out there, and even under Spurrier years too, man. They did not practice well, but when they hit the field, it was a whole nother different level. And we can't keep dwelling on this whole, hey, this is what he's doing to practice, like you just said, Q. We can't dwell on that if what he's doing on the field is completely everything that is asked and more. And here's the thing, obviously, with Case and Henry deal, we don't know what's going on there, but what we do find out is potentially Tree's already moved himself into a starting position. But if that happens and he succeeds, it tells us everything and more. And that's an issue, Q, and that's on coaching 100%.
This and not just that. Jalewis Solomon's another one I'm struggling with. Every time he's gone out there, Jalewis has made a play. David Boosie has made a play. I'm struggling with guys not getting more PT than other guys. I saw a lack of effort in tackling that I haven't seen. My God, 2021, maybe 22. I think 21 is probably the last time I saw the lack of tackling that I saw, and I'm troubled by that. But that's not even all of where Q is troubled at. The fact that we the fact that we kept doing the same thing over and over again, even when we were only down by one touchdown going into the second half, getting the ball back, and we chose to continue doing the same thing over and over and over again and thinking there was going to be a different result, I struggled with. I did, and I struggled with it mightily, and I struggled with it so much, FG, and it kept playing in my head over and over again because I'm not understanding why we had a chance to actually get back in this game and win this game, and we chose to keep doing the same thing over and over again. So, Shane Beamer, this is where I come to you and I question what's going on. Last I checked, Shane Beamer made over $8 million, right? FG, or is it 6 million? Is it 6.5 or is it 8 now?
That
Because
might
he just
be
got an extension.
yeah.
He makes a lot of money. Let me just say that he makes a lot of money. I don't care the price right now.
Sure.
You you have so much talent that you brought in. I haven't even addressed Mazio because that one might hurt the most. Because without Mazio, you don't have Malik Clark, you don't have Donovan Murphy, you don't have the influx of in-state receivers that you are sitting with this gold mine right now. Without Mazio Bennett, without Mazio, the game is not as close as it is in Alabama. Without Mazio, we struggle a little bit more with Kentucky. Without Mazio, I'm very much not understanding Shane Beamer's thought process on what he's doing and putting us in positions to win actual games. Shane Beamer, why would you punt on one fourth and one and then go and shotgun on the next fourth and one? And I'm not going to blame Mike Shula for this because Shane, this is not the first time this has happened. This happened under Dow Loggins. This happened under Marcus Satterfield. This has happened several times, Shane Beamer. So therefore, the common denominator in these situations right here, it becomes Shane Beamer. This becomes Shane Beamer. You want to put on this facial expression every time we're down. You want to look disappointed when we're down. But Shane, my 10-year-old cousin is not going to line up in shotgun on a fourth and inches and think he's going to get an automatic first down. That's not going to happen. That's not going to take place. I need you to take accountability and stand up and say with a straight face, this game was on me. I don't want to hear there was some good I saw. I don't want to hear none of those different things. Shane, we lost 31-7 in a game we didn't even have to lose 31-7. It didn't have to happen like that. It wasn't even something that had to happen. If we're going to be very simplistic and very real about the situation, Shane, you abandon a run game because they started stacking the box. Well, it's pretty daggum simple. If they're going to stack the box, you need to hit them over the top to make them respect the pass game. But the reason they didn't respect the pass game because you didn't have a passer in there that was going to push the ball down the field. This has nothing to do with Luke Doty because Luke Doty did exactly what he could do. This has nothing to do with Luke Doty. This has everything to do with mismanagement of personnel. This has everything to do with mismanagement of personnel. Clayton White is allowed to have a bad game. The defense had a bad game.
Yeah.
A lot of it had to do with tackling. I'm not going to sit here and sugarcoat that. I'm not going to sit here and rant about that. A lot of it had to do with poor execution. So can I really blame the game plan? I mean, it's hard to say because were there times those guys were there? Well, Sean Alexander got a lucky little pitch on third down where Dylan Stewart was where he was supposed to be, but then there was another player that was not where he was supposed to be and completely missed a tackle. But this same guy missed a tackle in Virginia Tech that led to another first down. This is the same guy that missed tackles in South Carolina State. So therefore, I'm still struggling here because now I'm wondering why Jerron Willis is not a starter on my team when I know Jerron Willis makes tackles.
Yeah.
You brought Aaron Nolan in to stabilize quarterback two. We saw what Cutter Woods is able to do. But now I've got more questions and more issues and more problems and more everything right now because I don't understand, Shane, why you are allowing guys to play football on your football team and they are literally doing the exact opposite of what you're preaching about in practice. So I don't know. Do I want someone who can make the tackle in practice but not in the game? Or do I want someone who misses a tackle in practice but makes it in the game? Because one of them doesn't count for anything and one of them counts for everything when it comes to your job, your NIL, your scholarship. It counts for everything. And you let something like that come in the way of it because you wanted to make decisions that you know you didn't have to make. And this is where the rubber meets the road now. Because I said this before, I'm going to keep saying this again. Until South Carolina can prove it can win with expectations, you're going to keep getting situations such as what you were just in. No matter how you put this shit. So, as far as fans are concerned, y'all can feel however you want to feel in any way, shape, form, or fashion of what you want to say. But the facts are the facts. This last game was completely on Shane Beamer. When you are only
Yeah.
down by 7 points after your starting quarterback goes out and you have an opportunity to throw a wrinkle in your offense by throwing in Aaron Nolan or Cutter Woods to push the ball down the field with the plethora of receivers beyond Nick Harbor that you had in Vendrigas Jacobs and Mazio Bennett and Brian Rowe and Donovan Murph and Malik Clark. You had all these plethora of guys, Jared Brown. You have all these guys, but you're not using them in the proper way because you're not managing the situation right, because you're not putting them in situations to be successful. So, Shane, I'm going to be very candid and honest with you because I was one of the first people when it came down to this that wanted you on the staff. Everyone, me and FG have always wanted you to be the head coach here. But I'm going to be, but at the same time, you also make enough money to understand that you are not above any criticism. This game was on you, and I want you to I want you to own that. You didn't own that in that presser. You have yet to own that this was on you. You have yet to own that you made piss poor decisions as a head coach, which trickled down and cost your team a game. And now
Yeah.
you're sitting at 2-1 when you should be at 3-0 going to Missouri and you have not done what you need to do as a coach to
Yeah.
keep your team successful. I'm not blaming Shula. I'm not blaming Teasley. I'm not blaming Clayton. I'm not blaming nobody else but Shane Beamer because you're the one that's the head coach. You're the one that sets the culture. You're the one that sets the standard. If your standard is I'm going to choose loyalty over winning, that's on Shane. And once again, this has nothing to
Yeah.
do with Luke. This has nothing to do with nobody else. This has to do with you're trying to go win a game, and you had opportunities to do that and get yourself the momentum to be back in the game, and you chose against it. And the reason I know why you chose against it, Shane, I know why you chose against it. But the fact of the matter is this: either you're serious about us winning, getting into the national championship contenders, or we're just going to be a simple 7-9 win team, nine being great years, seven being the standard.
Yeah.
You want to change the culture, you want to set the standard, you're going to have to show as a coach that you're willing to do that. But what I saw against Vanderbilt was your willingness to not do that. And I'm going to be honest. I'm intrigued to see how the rest of this season plays out. But I will say this: if you keep down this path, I don't want to hear the excuses if the offseason is as bad as it could be. I don't want to hear the excuses because you brought this upon yourself. You
Sure.
made this choice yourself. Because at the end of the day, this is a year to year game. You can look good one year and look bad the other, i.e. Florida State, and you see the damage that can get done when you do that. I'm not saying we're in the same boat as them by any stretch of the imagination, but I'm letting you know that's where we're at right now. So,
Well, I mean, fact of the matter, I mean, look at Steve Spurrier, right? I'm gonna bring him up for an example. At South Carolina, the way he did things, it was facts over feelings, right? And the same thing over loyalty. I mean, for South Carolina in 2011, Steven Garcia got beat out straight up by Connor Shaw, right? And Connor, his first start against East Carolina up in Charlotte, I'll never forget it. He was terrible. He was awful. So what did Spurrier do? Spurrier made the adjustment and brought in Steven Garcia. Garcia led on. I was eventually lost the job, of course, to Connor, which Connor, we all know to, to this day, the best quarterback to ever play at South Carolina, right? Obviously, when you're in this kind of situation and you're down the way you are and it's not working with Luke Doty, I don't understand why the adjustment wasn't made. And if we're at a point where Cutter Woods, Aaron Nolan can't make those simple throws, can't run a simple offense, we're in trouble.
but
Big,
that's the
big,
thing.
big trouble.
That's the
Big
thing. They've
trouble.
already they've already proven they can do that though.
Exactly. That's my
That's
point.
that's that's the issue. That's
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 my
that's
point.
exactly where we're at.
That's
When
my
you have
point.
two guys that can prove that they've already can make some things shake, can make
Mm-hmm.
some things happen, because at the end of the day, I would have if your concern was if they were ever going to push the ball down the field. Well, what do you have to look at that? Well, you look at pass protection. Well, hell, we just read the numbers for them. The numbers for pass protection wasn't the problem. So if that's not the problem, what do you what is the real issue then? Because Luke Doty didn't get sacked until Luke Doty held the ball too long.
Sure.
Luke Doty didn't make the plays that need to be made for us to move the ball down the field.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm not understanding it. You
I
brought
need to
up Michael
see.
Smith. You brought up
All
Michael
right.
Smith uh as a person that needed to step up in practice.
Sure. Yeah.
And I'm still not understanding what that has to do when Michael Smith has proven to you, especially last year at the Missouri game, when the game's on the line, he's there to make big play. I'm I'm this is old. This is old.
Yeah.
Let me just put it that way.
Yeah.
This is old.
No, it absolutely is. I mean, you need to have the right personnel out there. And no, I mean, Shane has been a guy that lives off loyalty. We've seen it before. I mean, this has been a thing for Shane Beamer. I mean, when he promised we moved DK Joyner to running back, and well, we saw how well that worked. But there's things that I can understand, and there's things that I don't, and there's things that you need to figure out to be a successful head coach. And I get it; it's your first stint being a head coach. I understand there are all you're going to have growing pains all throughout your career. There's going to be you're going to find it one way or the other. But what I don't get is not putting yourself in better position to win from making something, as Q said, that Vanderbilt hasn't seen yet. Going to Cutter Woods, going to Aaron Nolan, bringing and getting these guys involved. I mean, people are asking about Mazio. People are asking about Michael Smith, Q, as you just brought up. There's no reason why those guys aren't out there. I mean, at least with Mazio, I get he's not quite a seasoned vet, right? But he's got experience. He's been there for
Yes.
game-changing plays. He's made those plays.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't quite get that at all. I really don't. And look, I can understand Shane getting thrown off, after the hit on Lenoris and for it to take so long for him to lose his cool about that. I understand that because Q, we've been watching college football for a long time.
Very
I've
long.
never seen that. I've never seen a play get up and going like that, and then they call it during the play. During the play. I will give Shane a pass on that. And I can understand why he's irate because I was irate. Everybody else around us was irate. And they're ready to throw hands in that stadium with SEC officiating because I'm sick. I am sick of SEC officiating. I'm not making this loss about it, but I'm sick of it because every single game, SEC officials are a problem. Name one game that we played in the SEC recently that they weren't an issue in one way or the other. It gets old. It gets old. It's time to call for accountability, not for just the fans, not for just the players. But we got to remember, this game of college football, a lot of money is gambled every day on it. People lose money because of stupid calls or no calls or poor calls by that SEC officiating group. Like I said, I'm not turning this loss on SEC officiating, but that bullshit needs to stop. And I hope Shane showed his ass. I hope Shane showed his ass at SEC. I don't care. I hope he showed his ass.
Honestly, with officiating, I just want consistency, but we're not.
And you're not getting that. You're not getting
going to
that.
get it. So
you're not getting that.
I mean, I'm over it. I'm over the officiating, but I don't care for no one else at this personal moment except for Shane Beamer. What you did Saturday was inexcusable. It can't happen. It can't happen again.
Yeah.
Not if you're serious about moving this program to where it needs to be. It can't happen. You can't convince me no other way. That can't happen. No. We are too talented for you to allow that to happen. So now we're moving to a Missouri team, a ranked Missouri team at that. Which props to Vanderbilt. Do I think they're better than people give them credit for? Sure. Do I think they're a contender? No. That offense was that offense, all it does is just either you're disciplined on defense or you're not. We just played undisciplined that game. Did they do anything special?
As soon as we lost the Norris, man, like it's just like everybody just stopped. They just stopped trying on both sides of the ball. It's like we couldn't mentally handle losing Lenoris in this game. And I get it. He's a decision maker. He's your guy. But as a team, you have to be stronger than that. And I can say that, right? I've never played it down to football, college football, and then that's fine. But come on, man. Like when Connor Shaw went down, Dylan Thompson stepped right up. The team didn't stop delivering right under Spurrier. I'm just saying, you have to have that plan B. And South Carolina had no plan B against Vanderbilt.
I agree. I think I'll say this, when I'm looking at it from a personal standpoint, I'm more disappointed in just the lack of accountability I've heard from this head coach, from Shane. Shane's got to take ownership, be like, you know what, that was on me, and it ain't the coaches doing better. That was on me. So I think that's where I'm at with it. I just think we just got to be better. And I think it starts Saturday. I just would caution Shane. I would genuinely caution Shane. I would look at Shane dead in his eyes and I would tell Shane, if you're serious about moving this program forward, you got to show it as a coach on Saturday. Whether Lenoris goes or not, I have a feeling Lenoris will be ready to go. But whether he's ready to go or not, you need to have a plan in place, and it needs to be one that's actually suitable, so we can make some run at this.
Yeah.
That's just how I look at this current moment.
Yeah. No, I mean, I 100% agree. I'm right there with you. I mean, things can change, of course, and things can
But
get figured out, right? We saw it happen last year. Different
mhm.
scenarios, honestly, and look, this can be looked at as your Ole Miss game, right? A game South Carolina got out coached. The same kind of scenarios, honestly, in that game, what we saw in this one. Obviously, besides
Mhm.
a couple things, but fact of the matter, we've been behind the sticks before. We've gone against the grain before, and South Carolina found a way of doing that, and I think it can happen. I'm not saying it's not possible. Like you said, Shane, you got to take some accountability. You have to, yeah, you have to get these guys going because you're only strong. Your team's only as strong as you are.
You're right.
And like I said, things can change. I'm not throwing the towel on the season or anything crazy like that. There are some questions that need to be answered, though. Right? There's questions that need to be
Yep.
answered. One of the things I would ask, one of the questions I would ask, if we're not putting this on Mike Shula now, and let's say South Carolina, Lenore's comes trotting out next week, everything works fine. The offensive line is blocking. We're having no issues. Wide receivers against separation, but the play calling is just not there.
Yeah, I agree.
I'm ready to have that conversation.
I agree.
I think this loss in general is tough to pin on Mike Shula. I do agree there. There are concerning points. There's no doubt about that. There's no doubt about that. When I say there are concerning points, I mean these are the stats, and I'm going to read them out. I don't want to, but I have to. Last in SEC in total offense, last in rushing, 110 yards a game, but I better give a little pass for that for now. Last in sacks allowed, last in first downs, fifth in scoring offense, 15th in tackles for loss allowed, 15th in the third down zone and third down rate, and then 15th in red zone. So, uh, yeah, not great, not great, and it's concerning, Q, when you see teams like ODU put 45 on Virginia Tech. I mean, it's concerning. I'm not gonna lie. I saw that light up the scoreboard in Williams-Brice Stadium on Saturday. At one point, it was 31-0. We're gonna find out.
Like I said, 3 games in, you're not gonna get that from me. Y'all, everyone else can have that. When you look at what Shane Beamer is doing personnel wise, I got concerns. That's where my concerns are.
Yeah, yeah. No, I
So
get it. I
so
get it.
so until he addresses those, I can't keep putting it on position coaches when Shane Beamer's the one hiring them.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I'll say this, Q. There are good things to take away from this weekend in Columbia. Obviously, not from the game itself, but South Carolina had a bunch of recruits on hand. A lot of recruits on hand. I got involved as far as I got to speak with Tristan Lewis, got to meet him. An absolute star right now for Greenwood High School. That's a team to watch out for when it comes to the state. Make in the playoffs,
Hmm.
make a little bit of a run or win it all, honestly, because that is a solid squad. Met with Tristan, Darius Gray, saw him. Of course, Walker. We saw him out there also. Julian Walker. The vibes were still high. The vibes were still high. And Q and I have said it many times. The loss, what happens on that field, right? Whatever happens on that field doesn't always play a part into what happens on that recruiting visit. It doesn't
Hmm.
always do it. Sometimes it could, have piece of parts of it. But for this one, for example, you had guys like Anthony Sweeney, 4-star edge rusher for 2027, all right, 2027. And he stayed till Sunday. He had a great visit, right? Got guys like that. Jaden Walker back in from Michigan. Michigan commit. Had a great visit. Jane Bryant. I feel like South Carolina is kind of the favorite category there with the Irmo products.
Mm-hmm.
Carson the same. Nate Carson, I believe, the same thing. KJ Green. KJ Green was in town. He had a great visit. So all these things are factors when it comes to, comes to all the recruiting, because South Carolina still recruits at that high level despite the loss. And people are upset about it. I'm upset about it. Q's upset about it. We're all upset about it.
Mm-hmm.
However, recruiting, we did not. It wasn't a bad weekend in recruiting. Let's put it that way. Despite what the field in the results said, there's still a lot of positive to take away from what happened on the recruiting trail this past weekend. So, not all bad, not all doom and gloom. No, commits straight out from leaving South Carolina visits to other teams. So that's always great. And like I said, it's something to keep an eye out for. And I mean, Q, we're on to Missouri, man. We're on to Missouri. We're 50 days away from college basketball now, which
yeah.
We're going to talk about that, man. Jamie Shaw had some great things to say about Gamecock basketball. Him and I met up at the football game. Jamie Shaw from On3, and we talked, man. And there's some guys to watch out for. We're going to talk about that when we get closer. Here, we're going to get Jamie Shaw back on the show to talk a little basketball. I think the team's going to be a little more surprised what people are thinking. I think people are going to be a little more surprised.
I do agree with that.
A different identity, but surprised.
I think it's more of a Lamont style team.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, there's questions, of course, going into this season for basketball, but we'll get to that point here in the next few weeks, man. Next few weeks. So it's good to get to that, and I mean, Q, that's really it, man. Anything else before we wrap it up, my guy?
No, that'll do it. Shane, get it together. That's all I got. Get it together.
Good stuff, man. Well, guys, we do appreciate y'all tuning in live, the Welcome On Podcast on Facebook, YouTube, X. Real quick before I did in the show, I wanted to give a shout out to Spencer Rattler. Spencer Rattler, one of the only quarterbacks in the NFL that hadn't thrown an INT yet, man. Yes.
Balling.
Yeah. If he had a little bit of better team to work with, though, looking at you, New Orleans Saints.
Balling.
They'd be 2-0 right now. But, they're the New Orleans Saints. Jadeveon Clowney is going to sign with the Cowboys after all. Q, how do you feel about that one?
I hate it. Should sound my Eagles. It's bull job.
I get it. I definitely. I understand. We had Clowney for a little while at Carolina, and he just didn't factor out too much. Wasn't terrible, but didn't factor out too much. Shout out to DJ Wanham. DJ Wanham had an interception for the Carolina Panthers, so that was good. Obviously, Deebo Samuel was doing Deebo Samuel things. I don't know why anybody else thought different of what he would be doing.
True.
So, it's crazy to me, really. JC Horn still locking guys down, but once again, Xavier Legette, we need to have a talk. 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 I don't know what's going on.
Yeah, get together.
-8 receiving yards in 2 games. -8. We're not blocking. There's no urgency to get on the other side to run a play when the clock is running down.
Man, he's got to get together.
What are we doing?
He got to get together. I don't know what he's doing, but he got to get together.
It's sickening.
He's got to get together.
Bro, I love Xavier. It hurts.
We'll see what happens.
Anyways, guys, we appreciate y'all tuning in live. Like I said, it's a Welcome On Podcast. You can actually catch the replays on Apple and Spotify. You can catch the replays over there. You can rate and review the show. And, hey, better days are ahead.